Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rock Review is so happy to bring you the lead singer and frontman for the hit band, Kansas, Ronnie Platt. Thanks for joining the show.
Eric, nice to see you. You're in Nashville. Love Nashville. Missing the rhyming. Missing the rhyming.
I love the background you got there, Ronnie, because I mean, besides lead and backup, you play keyboards, guitar. Kansas has a brand new album that is #1 in Sweden, #2 in the UK, #10 on Billboard. I mean, you guys have sold 30 million albums, and this new album is doing incredible.
And the number is still rising. And the amazing thing is, this is a band that was in their heyday in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the 70s, when I was a young lad. But it really is amazing, Kansas's history, and, you know, just how Phil and Rich have kept the train rolling all these years. And here we are, you know, in 2020 with a new album, the second one since I've been in the band.
Right.
And it's amazing. The kudos really go to Phil and Rich for wanting to keep producing original Kansas music in that Kansas vein.
Well, you know, and you and I were talking before the interview started, Ronnie, to where, you know, a lot of bands, especially, you know, classic rock, progressive bands, you know, like Kansas, a lot of times will sit on the laurels of their past hits, which Carry On My Wayward Son, Dust in the Wind, so many great songs. But to produce an album like this that is really cutting edge, you know, listen to the tracks, you know, of the new album, you know, it's just, you've got so many great songs on there that do a nod to the old Kansas, but also there's some kind of heavy rock and roll songs in here.
Yeah, very heavy. The amazing thing is, you talk about a band that has such a library of past music. When I got the job in the band, I'm like really excited about, wow, I'm going to be singing all these songs I've heard my entire life that have been a soundtrack of my life. And there's so many to choose from. And now we have the second new album in 5 years since I've been with the band. It just adding to that Kansas catalog. It's really amazing.
Well, you know, and once again, you know, besides talking about the great new album, the absence of presence, I want you to talk about how in 2014, as an over-the-road trucker, Kansas reached out to you, hire you to be the front.
Get out of my way! I'm driving in Chicago here.
I mean, you know, this sounds like a movie. I mean, this is incredible. You got to tell the story, Ronnie.
You know, it's funny when you see things in the press, you know, especially when it comes to the rock and roll business, bands that have, you know, acquired new singers. You figure when you see that in the press, when they announce that in the press, you know, you automatically think, oh, they got someone new. I wonder who they've been working with.
Right.
And I'll give you the detailed story here. A very good friend of mine, Dina, who happens to be Dennis DeYoung's niece. Dennis DeYoung, formerly of Styx.
Right.
Good friend, longtime fan of mine. She texted me one day with the announcement of Steve Walsh's retirement. And I'm like, you know, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, they got to be working with someone. They're in the middle of touring.
Right.
You know, they have to, just on a whim. I'm friends with Rich on Facebook, Rich Williams. All I write, Rich, Ronnie Platt from Shooting Star, because I was the lead singer of Shooting Star from 2007 to 2011.
Right.
Rich, Ronnie from Shooting Star, give me some consideration. That's all I wrote. That was a Wednesday. Thursday, I kid you not, guys, I'm about to leave the house to go to my mother's to cut the lawn and pick up dog poop in the backyard. You think I'm kidding? My mother, my 85-year-old mother will be witness to that. And right before I leave, I just, on a whim, I check my email, and here's a message from Rich. We're about to go on stage in Houston. If you get this within the next 90 minutes, call me back. I called Rich, talked to Rich. Friday, I talked to Phil. They flew me down to Atlanta on Monday for a meeting, and they were very, very explicit with me. You're not coming to audition. we've seen you with Shooting Star. We saw your YouTube stuff. We know you could sing your butt off. We just want to know if you're a nice guy, if you're going to fit in with the band, because that really is the secret of things, you know, because when you're touring, you're joined at the hip, guys. I mean, it's there between band and crew, there's 15 of us, you know, traveling together every day, all the time. So anyway, I fly to Atlanta on Monday and I meet with Phil and Rich. We talked business for about 5 minutes, and the next 3 hours was just telling stories and laughing our asses off. And we're walking out of there because I got to catch my flight back to Chicago. We're walking out of there and Phil's looking at me like, well, you know, you got the job, but I gotta talk to Rich, you know. And Tuesday morning, I'm back in my 18-wheeler at one of my customers and, you know, checking my email, and I get an email from Phil that says, congrats, you got the job. And so went back to my work, and the company that I worked for at the time, they were big supporters of mine because they let me take off all the time to do Shooting Star stuff. And they were just over the moon excited, as I was, you know, and it's been crazy ever since.
Well, you know, and you were with Standfast, you know, Trucking.
Yes, Standfast Corrugated Products.
And they had to be cheering you on. Because, I mean, you know, what, like you and I were talking before we started the interview, Ronnie, to where, you know, you'd been playing with Shooting Star, you've been playing, you know, weekends with a number of bands, proving yourself, great vocalist.
Cut my teeth.
But to get that, you know, to get that gig, and I mean, it's been 6 years already, and you're on your second album, and I'll tell you what, your vocals on this new album, especially in the last album, came out in 2016, I believe, it also did incredible on the charts, but nothing like this. There it is, the brand new. But I mean, your vocals sound so great, and I think you're able, you know, obviously to do the classic songs from Kansas. Yeah. But like you said, too, the whole band wants to continue to progress musically, and you guys are doing brand new material.
Yeah, you know, the big kudos there go to the amazing, multi-talented Zach Risby, who's the primary writer on the last two albums. And I can't say enough about Zach. Phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal producer. And he's really the guy. I mean, I kid you not, he was working 16, 18 hours a day when we were recording this album, because we were in the middle of touring and still recording this album. And he'd sit at that console all day and then go back to the hotel room and all night and just work on stuff that he had his computer set up in his hotel room, and he would constantly work. And in the studio, you know, he's like, you know, sing this, let's sing this. And he's the guy that really puts the puzzle together, you know. Wow. So really outstanding work by Zach.
Well, you know, and I got to bring this up too. And obviously when our viewers go out and buy the new Kansas album and download, you know, the entire digital file, because all the songs are so great, but big stands out for me are the incredible, you know, vocals that you provide, the guitar work, the drumming, everything, you know, the layers. But, you know, some of the stuff to me was almost like Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It was like that.
Right. And talk about Trans-Siberian, you know, the key element there is, of course, Mr. David Ragsdale's flaming violin, which I've said it so many times on Jets Overhead. You know, I kid that we had to put his violin out with a fire extinguisher after recording that song. I mean, just
song on this album, though.
Yeah, and you know, that's the Kansas signature sound is, you know, having that violin there. And boy, Rags just tears it up on this album.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, I know the album is for sale. You guys have been releasing singles on it. I want to make sure that our viewers, Ronnie, know where to go for the website, for the social media. You guys have been doing some cool interviews on social media and everything, too, and sometimes sing-alongs.
Right, that's true. But, you know, this is a multi-purpose album. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Because not only does the absence of presence make a beautiful place setting, but the CD also makes a wonderful coaster.
Wow.
So if you need a drink, that's why everyone should have a set of 8 of them.
Well, you know, and I love the artwork too. I mean,
oh my God, Denise, Denise De La Certa. Oh my God, amazing work on this. You know, she did Prelude too, and just the artwork is fantastic. And I remember Phil sending it to me the first time, and I'm like, I love it. And I know some people are going to go, that's strange. But that's kind of like what you want to do, you know,
right.
You know, this band makes people think, you know, so.
It really does. I mean, particularly when you look at the past, you know, hit album covers, you know, it's like, to me, it's like, it made sense. It looks incredible.
Yeah,
look at that.
I mean, that's pretty.
So where should viewers go for the website, social media, and everything, Ronnie?
Real simple. KansasBand.com is the connection to everything. That'll tell you where you could get the album. I mean, you know, just go to our menu, and everything is on our menu at KansasBand.com. It's really that simple.
Well, you know, and I saw also on your Facebook page, Ronnie, that you guys have some great T-shirts and stuff too.
Oh,
the incredible!
Oh, I didn't have. I should have hung my T-shirt on one of my guitar hooks.
it's like
my absence of presence T-shirt. I haven't worn it out yet. You know, I don't want to scare people, but.
Well, I'll tell you what. Congratulations on an incredible album, climbing the charts, #1 in Sweden. I'm sure number 2 in the UK. You know, number 10. Billboard. What a great album. Ronnie Platt of Kansas, thank you so much for joining the Rock Interview.
Guys, thank you so much. Love to everyone there in Nashville. Hope everyone's safe. And let's get back to concert touring very soon.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, guys.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.